So today we're talking about nettles. Nettles are one of my favorite plants. I have to say it's hard to pick a favorite. It's kind of like when um, you pick a favorite child, and it's kind of rude, but um, I just know that nettles has helped me so much in my life, and I think that it's an herb that more and more people should know about for that reason. It's incredibly powerful. It's an herb that can be used for so many things that when people ask me what are nettles used for? What are they good for? It can be kind of hard to say because they're used for so many things. And there's kind of a joke within some herbalists like communities that would, say no matter what somebody asks you, you'll say, "Oh, take some nettles," because it's just that helpful. Also, really well known kind of just out in the wilderness because it is prickly, right? So if you touch one of the leaves, you get what feels like a bee sting, and it's actually the same acid entering your finger through a tiny little hair. So when you're using this herb, a lot of times people will either like crush it or pour boiling water on it, and then the hairs kind of get broken off, and they're not going to sting you anymore. But nettles are the same thing as stinging nettles, and so keep that in mind when you're looking for it. Sometimes it goes by those names. The Latin name is Urtica, dioica, and the name in Spanish is Ortiga. Um, so those are other ways that we know it. You can kind of tell it has this protection medicine, right? It's kind of got these like jagged edges, and it grows really easily. It is native to Europe, but it can grow really easily anywhere, and even in disturbed soils. So if like a forest has been mistreated, or sometimes you see it growing in the side of the road, or just like a wild garden patch. Those are other ways that you can find nettles, and they're used a lot in cooking. In fancy restaurants, you can see a nettle on the menu sometimes. On pizza, like they'll use the whole leaf. Sometimes it's known as a wild spinach as well. And the reason for that is that it is just incredibly packed with nutrients. It's got trace nutrients and minerals, and it's even got a little bit of iron and protein in it. So it's really incredibly fortifying. And so when I make a tea with it, which is the main way I recommend folks working with it, is making an overnight infusion. That's going to be the best way to extract those nutrients. So when you let the tea sit, you use boiling water. You pour the water over the herb, let it sit with a lid on it. I usually use either a pint or a quart jar, and then let it sit overnight. And at that point, um, it's just become a liquid multivitamin. So you'll strain it out in the morning, and then you can either reheat or drink it cold. Sometimes, if it's warm out, I'll just ice it. Maybe add a little honey. Sometimes, if I get really fancy, I'll add a little milk and honey, and then it's almost like this little fancy, cafe drink. The overnight infusion is a really great alternative to coffee. It's not caffeinated at all. There's no low caffeine or anything. It's just that instead of giving you the fake energy that coffee gives you, it can give you useful energy. We call it green usable energy, which is what plants give you, which is why we eat food. Another personal favorite recipe for nettles is nettle pesto. So you can blend it with an herb like cilantro or basil, a really good nutritive herb to use in the kitchen as well. So nettles is a really great herb to have on hand. Um, Particularly in the spring, it can be used really well for supporting allergies, and that's because it reduces the histamines in the body. It has antihistamines, and so it responds to that reaction in the body, and then it reduces that. So I actually have used it. I was living for a time with cats, and I have a really bad cat allergy, and so I took nettles with in a really high extraction daily, and that reduced my the congestion in my nose and like the itchiness in the back of my throat. And I actually get asthma symptoms sometimes too with allergies. And so that was also reduced. One way to also think of it is the medicine of the sting can be used on the joints. So if somebody has arthritis, it can help bring circulation to those joints and help reduce the pain or just help some of that energy flow to that joint that's swollen. It's just so strong. It's so well good in what it does. It can help us grow our hair. It can help us grow the nails. If you have gray hair, it can help reduce or repair that. It's good for the blood. Um, it helps oxygenate the blood, and it's just it's strong. It's strength, right? So it's not like caffeine. It's not something that's gonna like make everything go away, or jack you up. It's actually just gonna help you feel yourself and help you feel strong. So I really recommend it for a lot of people. And it is a bit cooling. So it can, if you're somebody who runs cold, it can make you feel a little bit colder. And for that reason, I really enjoy taking it also with ginger as a flavor because it doesn't taste like much. It just kind of tastes like green. And so if you want to have a little bit of flavor, you can add like a peppermint, which is cooling also, or ginger or lemon verbena. It is very safe, so people who are pregnant can use it. It's great herb to take when people are pregnant to help grow the baby and support the parent that's carrying the baby. And it's safe while nursing. So this is a really safe herb for everybody. There's no contraindications. People do also use the nettle root for prostate and
Nettle seed.
for kidney health. What we're really focusing on today is the leaf. So that's kind of the first thing to get to know. And then once you get to know that, then um, you can move on. Or if you're having needs in those different areas, you can check that out as well. But this video is mostly about nettle leaf, one of my very favorites.